everybody. So it's been, today is the 10th of September, and I've been back almost 2 weeks now from the Pranic retreat. I must say the Pranic retreat was quite intense in a lot of different layers that I did not expect that there was gonna come up. It was in the south of France. It was in well, I have a lot of videos to show you later on, but it was really beautiful. Really like nice vibes, nice energy, nice location, nice staff. There's a pool, clean garden, clean house, spacious. When we arrived, we all got a hug from the facilitator, and his name is Brahman menor. You know, when I hugged him, like, there was this feeling of almost like etheric niceness, like just like like immediately like, oh, he has a very nice energy. It's a very nice energy, very like light and very like yeah, very magic, like really beautiful energy. So after that, they told everybody that they could have a drink and that the dry fasting would start. So everybody had a juice, 1 or 2 juices, and they started to dry fast. So we arrived on Sunday. So arriving on Sunday in the evening, having the introduction, we were then led to a source room. Now, being in the source room, it's a beautiful room full of, what would you call it? Like big stones. There was a copper triangle. There were statues. It was a very nice room, very spacious, very open, very big, beautifully decorated. Yeah, so I have some video photos of that, so maybe I'll show that. So then, although you were not allowed to do that, and we were asked not to do that, so I don't know if it will happen or not, but I have it, so we'll see. So after that, we did some preparatory or connecting exercises, like connecting to the heart, meeting everybody, looking each other in the eyes, acknowledging each other, like, hey, we're gonna share this space, this transformational time and space together. It's really intimate, and it's so funny because the facilitator asks you, don't talk too much. So try to keep to yourself. Try to keep the silence. Don't have chats. Just keep silent. Because of that, even though you're with almost 20 people, but because you don't talk, it feels very personal. You feel together, but you feel very alone. So you don't get to know people that well, or that, intimate, but you share these processes together. So after everybody acknowledged each other and everybody connected to each other, we we went to our rooms, and first night started. First night, really wonderful. It was a small room, but what's really beautiful is because you're in this open space, you're in these mountains, or between the mountains, or hills. It's really clear in the sky. So you really see stars. It's really pitch dark. My window, my room was just, so if you have the house, right? If you're coming up to the house, the facilitator was sleeping downstairs. There was a gym here, and here up, like above the facilitator's room, my room was. My room was always open. There was a, what do you call it, a drape I put there so that the mosquitoes wouldn't come in, and just like total darkness and cool wind. The evenings it was really cool, and during the day it was super hot. It was very warm, not super hot but warm. Yeah, in my videos, in my vlogs, you will see I was walking a lot. Now, when I will post these videos one by one, you have to understand that I was going through my own process. So whatever I was saying, it was like I was just like talking to myself, processing the information, processing my judgments or my what do you call it? Perceptions, impressions. Like that was my impression. That was my, and just like talking it through, weaving it through. Yeah. So after the first day, next day, woke up very early. Now, I told the person from logistics, from the administration, I am not going to drive fast. I'm going to water fast. She said, okay. She said, but you can try. She was like, actually, I wanted to even juice during the day, drink celery juice, because I had this idea that I need it because I'm so used to drinking it. Yeah, she said like, you know, if others see it, and you know how it's gonna impact the group, this and that, because I had brought like literally bags, 2 bags full of celery juice. I don't know, 20 or I don't know how many celeries there were, but there were a lot of celeries. I brought a lot. So I brought a bag with avocados, celery, cream cheese like Philadelphia, mascarpone. I brought coconut, like a bag of coconut oil, peanut butter, tahini, MCT oil, like all kinds of things, supplements, slippery elm tea, like a supplement for the gut. So it was, yeah, limes for hot water in the morning. I brought a lot, and thank God that the guy that I was driving with, carpooling with, had a big Range Rover car, so it all fit in his car. It's funny. Yeah, and once we arrived, like, it was funny because while driving, you know, because it was really hot during that time, the celery was going, you know, in this warm temperature, it dries up and it rots or it goes bad really fast. But once we arrived, I put the holes, like the juicer, the celery, into they reserved some refrigeration space for me, because I told them like, I'm not gonna drink juices when we start the refeed. I'm gonna do my own juices. And they were like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine for if you want to do that. So I was one of the persons who was allowed to go to the kitchen while others were not. So I was going to the kitchen, putting my celery, putting my avocados, everything was there. Some supplements as well. And so, yeah, so in the morning, get up at 6-ish. And our program starts at, what time does it start? It starts at 9. Yeah, 9. So I get up at 6, I go downstairs, turn on the hot water. The first days of this, first, second days, I didn't know that it was there, but after some time I saw that there was a kettle, put on the hot water, lime, go to my room, drink water, do some breathing exercises, and then yeah, prepare myself for the session. So during the session, so the session would start at 9 a.m. Yeah. So before that, every morning I would see one of the persons who's staying with the facilitator. So his administration, his logistics. She would. Her name was Azuria, a really sweet woman, lovely woman, kind, gentle, very helpful, very easy to communicate and relate to. I was always seeing her in the morning doing some yoga exercises, and then at 9 she would actually go around the house with this bell, ringing the bell, ding 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 ding, and it would ring, and then we would just basically that was the sign that in 15 minutes it will start. Now, throughout the day, in between the sessions, before the start of each session, where we were supposed to be gathered, she would ring this bell. And you know what happened? First time, it's fine. But then after a couple of times, I noticed that after 5 minutes, she was coming to my room and saying, we're all waiting for you. You're the last, yeah, like, and I was like, I thought it was 15 minutes. So this kept happening a couple of times, and then I realized, like, because everybody's fasting, dry fasting, and just by themselves, not really talking, it's like you just have that. Like once you hear it, you just go to the room, because that's activity. You don't have, you know, it's like the only thing to do. So I didn't expect that. So everybody was always really fast there. So I was drinking water, and first day we had firstly some exercises. So there was always 1 hour morning warm-up, which was doing spine exercises like Sufi circles, camel ride, or do you call it like this? Some breathing exercises were there, some mantras, singing. Yeah, some things are there, like to just get the energy up, or so that was being done. And then we had a break of 15 minutes, like to go to the bathroom or whatever. And then we again, the ringing would start. So the first session, and this was really nice. So I really was curious how this was gonna work. Like, how does it work? How is it gonna work? How is it gonna work? And I must say, it's really subtle, really powerful, really, really easy to tap into. It's like once you decided to go there, to travel to that location, like for instance, even myself, while I was driving there, I already felt like I'm just in this stream, in this flow, and it just flowing. I felt carried. I just felt like just gonna go with the flow, just gonna go with the flow. There was a very, very like subtle flow that you could feel, like you're just in this stream of this process. It's a process, and you're being carried. So that was really nice, because you didn't have to struggle or put effort. You just had to go with the program. Now, of course, I had my own adjustments. It was because of, I don't know, fear or insecurity, or who knows. But that's what I did. I drank water. So the first exercise started. I think he did some visualization first, and then he talked about the pranic cells. And then he started to do the breathing exercises, specific breathing exercises to clean up the pranic cells, to make them empty of conditioning, to connect with all the cells, the pranic cells in the body. Yeah, to yeah, to engage all of the cells in the body in the breathing process. Now, this was so intense. Like literally, I did not expect it to be this way. First, it started a very gradual, very soft, but then as time went on, because there are 3 phases to it. First, there's the breathing, then there is there's the second part, and then there's the third part. And like during the second and the third part, so much noise and emotions and voice expression is all of a sudden becoming active. So people are shouting, screaming, I don't know, maybe crying. It's really intense. And at the end, it's such an amazing feeling. It feels like in your body, you're like this ball of like this empty fullness, spaciousness, and you're just like full of nothing, but it's full. It's like, yeah. It's like, wow. It's like, imagine almost like you're a car running on electricity. It's just like full of energy, but it's not heavy. It's not dense, just like that. Maybe not electricity, like hot, warm air or something. It's just like a bubble filled with it's really pleasant, really wonderful. Now, once this was done, and this would take around 40-50 minutes, the next phase of our process would start, which was the visualization. Now, the way he does visualization, the way he talks, this is really freaking cool. When he speaks very fluid, very flowy. He doesn't preach, he doesn't say unnecessary things. It's just like a flow of certain things that he shares. So it goes very natural, very organic. It's like, almost like, yeah, is he making it up on the moment, on the spot? Like, or how often has he done it? But it's so fluid and so easy to follow. So there's beautiful music being played, and then he uses visualization. He guides you through a visualization of that has to do with pranic cells, and then a visualization that has to do with your DNA strand. So those are there's a process there, and after that, you just keep laying down, listen to some music, allow for the integration time, and so you feel really full, right? So after that, we were given 2 hours free time, so between 12 and 2. So I went back to my room and yeah, stayed in my room. Now, from 12 till 2, a break. Then once the bell starts ringing again, and here you're not allowed to talk again, people. He would advise, or they would advise you not to go for long walks in the mountains. There was like because we were like on a hill, you could go down and there was like a lake there, you could go between mountains, but he said don't go there, because you will be weak, especially the second and third day, to get back up. You will be weak, so don't do it, stay here. So that was shared, so we had time. Some people were like coloring, writing in the house, in the journals. Some were like chilling by the pool, just lying, just quiet. Now, there was also the staff. Went to the kitchen a couple of times, drank water, talked with some people. I must say I wasn't like the most adherent to all the disciplinary rules. Also, the owner of the retreat center was there. He was participating in the process, so during the process, he was being filmed a couple of times by Azuria, the administration person. So after the break, we would all gather again, and this is when this has happened. Like, they do it, and you think there's 15 more minutes, but all of a sudden somebody knocks on your door. Like, everybody's there, everybody's waiting for you. Okay, so you go there. So in the afternoon, we would have like usually a small talk about like either his life or about the pranic process. Sometimes we would do 1 hour breath work to empty out the emotions, I think he said. Because emotions can be deep in the layers or something, and to empty out the emotions. So we do 1 hour breathwork session. Sometimes Azuria, she would actually use some script like MDMR or something, and like she would guide us through a visualization, certain exercise, and we would do that. But usually it was always the breath work. Now, at 5 p.m. then, so there would be something, a small break, and then again something, and then 5 p.m. we have a break till 8 p.m. 3 hours. Now again, nobody's eating, nobody's drinking. Everybody's dry fasting, except me, I'm drinking. So yeah, be prepared to spend a lot of time with yourself, focusing on your own process. After that, at 8 p.m., usually do a breathwork session again, or we would do a darshan. Now, a darshan is basically he puts on this track, this music, Om, Om, Om. He basically goes around the room one by one, standing opposite you, looking into your eyes, and then you have this eye contact with him, and he says, you can now close your eyes and go into surrender. He puts his hand on your third eye. You lay down, and the moment you lay down, you feel like I felt it. Like all of a sudden, it was just like being. It's a very, very nice feeling. It's like you just parked, and instead of constantly like waiting or looking or thinking, you were just like, wow. You just parked there and you're just being. You just are. 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 It goes by itself, and it stays for 10-15 minutes, and then the eyes go open, things start to move again, and you look around, and he keeps going around the room. He puts his hand on people, shakes a little bit, or does something, and then another activation comes, and then again for 10-15 minutes you go through some process. So those are very subtle, very powerful. There was one guy that I saw, he stumbled, when he does that. His assistant Azuria, she's standing behind a person to catch them if they're gonna fall. So this one guy, he stumbled, and the way he looked, he just almost fell. But yeah, they have precautions for that. But beside that, everybody, everybody I think had their own experiences. It was really beautiful, really nice. We did it twice in the 6 days. We did it 2 times. Is it 6 days? Yeah, 6 days. From Sunday till Saturday. So basically after that, we were allowed to just keep playing that there. After it was done, it was about an hour. And then we were allowed to have some talks, to go and talk. So we would go to the terrace downstairs, to the pool. Some people would talk a little bit, some would not, some would go to their room to go to sleep. I would go and I would actually stay and talk. Actually, I can make a list of the things. So there was a moment when we talked about avatars. Moment when we talked about, and there was a woman who talked about her somebody she already knew who had done this process. You know, the sessions, they're really wonderful and very, very beautiful. Every day, this would more or less be the outline. So you were occupied and you were busy. So I kept drinking the whole time. What's funny is, on the third day, the Wednesday, at 8 p.m. when we gathered, there's a drinking ceremony. So you gather, you all sit down in a circle. And he talks about that you need to drink 2 glasses of water slowly to give your kidneys time to catch up. So you drink water, and then they start drinking juices again. Now, when she gave me the water, she's like, you have to drink, you have to, like, I've been drinking this whole time. Now, I had known from somebody else before already that she had done the process at home. So she said, I didn't attend the retreat, I just talked with him, he explained it to me, and I did it at home by myself. I was like, I don't know how by herself it was, like guided or not guided, but she did it. So that was very interesting. So somewhere, like, the facilitator, he also said, look, for the pranic transformation, it's not essential to dry fast, but it's to give you that experience of how it feels, also to reset your immune system. Like, the whole program, it has its own reasons and its own it's a whole, like, the way everything's designed, there's reasoning behind it. No, I didn't do it. Honestly, up until the retreat, I was not following the juice program, I was not following the dry fasting program, and afterwards now, I'm also not following the program outline, because I have this thing like, I'm just gonna allow my life to unfold by itself. I'm not gonna make a goal out of it, like, because after the retreat, your pranic cells, they keep on multiplying. So after 3 months, it's 80%. After 1 year, it's 100%. So there was a moment when I was sitting with him, and I asked him, like, can you, like, what percentage am I on? Can you? And he touched my hand. He said 37. I'm like, okay. And he touched a girl's hand. She was 42. So I guess it was already happening. Now, there were some moments during the visualizations that brought some confusion. There was one visualization with the DNA strand where after the visualization or during the visualization, I started to have these images. These images about, basically about like, so because, you know, you're alone and people don't have their phones and you're just sitting there. Like for me, after a couple of days, what would start to come up was also horniness. Because, you know, you don't have sex, you don't masturbate, you don't release. And feeling that horniness, like honestly, like while we were doing the morning yoga, there was somebody from the staff that was actually there often, and she would sit in front of me, and I would see her legs or the outline of her butt cheeks or something, and it would just, yeah, like my intention would just be there because like I had all this testosterone and this, I was just feeling horny already in the morning. I would have like an erection or something, and then like sitting in the sessions, she would literally be sitting right in front of me, and I would just see that. So I cannot deny that. So it was there, and it was like, wow, like the horniness. So I was walking a lot, you know, going to the mountains, going in between the mountains. I have a lot of video footage of it. When I was walking there, it's really beautiful. It's really wonderful to just go for the walks. I had some thoughts like, whoa, maybe there's snakes here, but I didn't see any snakes. So that was really nice. You know, sneaking and going to the refrigerator, because I was also like holding a bottle of water in the refrigerator, so that was really cold. So around 5 p.m. I would drink that cold water, and I would fill my water bottle up in the evening at 10-11, which was near the kitchen, but it was not in the kitchen. And so sometimes people, you know, I was always looking that nobody would see me. Now, when the refeeding started, there was a moment where I said like, I'm gonna refeed on avocados, on other things. And the person to whom I said that, the assistant of the facilitator, she told it to him. And then the next morning he told me, you don't eat solid foods, because if others will see it, I will lose the group. Don't eat solid foods. Just juice them, make the juices. So every day I was making celery juice. He had asked me not to eat. That's those were his words, his what he wanted or what he asked. Now, during one of the visualization, there was a moment, the third or fourth day. And every time the visualizations are different also, by the way. The visualizations keeps changing. So one day it's a certain setting, then it's another setting, then it's always a bit different. So it keeps changing. And it's like, it almost also like a build-up. Yeah, I don't wanna like spoil you or ruin you, but it was really nice. So afterwards, on the third, fourth day, there was a moment where I was just felt so much confusion, because I started to see, like after the DNA strand visualization, I started to have images of like a certain interaction between certain people, and I started to see that, and my mind was like, why am I seeing these images? Like there was confusion. So I asked him, and he said, Trust the process. Everything that's happening is happening exactly as it should be. You know, he talks about a couple of things. He said, because I told him, like, you know, sometimes when I talk with people, I have like this almost like fear, or this thing, like I don't want to cause people harm with my unconsciousness. So sometimes, like, I take back my words, I retract my words, or I don't allow myself to fully express. Because sometimes I also feel like when I say something, it's like I feel here that, like, I need to take it back, or I need to correct it. And it's like, you know, sometimes it's better to say less but from the heart, but can still be powerful. And it's like, for me, like almost like a learning process to speak from the heart, speak what's truly felt, or what's really arising, instead of just thoughts and associations and ideas that are just popping up just to comment, or to make it more excitement, or to stir the pot a little bit, or whatever. Now, he also talked about these things. He said, Igor, if you know that everybody has a book of life, then you can never say or do anything wrong. In the sense that he talked about free will, and that everything is basically predestined. Like, everything is already like because he told his life story. He's like, he was a businessman, he was earning a lot of money, he was a bodybuilder, and then, without his intending or looking for it, all of a sudden he had an enlightenment experience, right? And then things started to unfold, and his life started to change. And then some years ago, he died 3 times. And then things started to change again, because then the energy, like, there was a things started to change again. So it's like, he wasn't looking for those things, it just happened. So it's like, you have a life book. He said when he died, he saw how he was gonna live, when he was gonna die, how he was gonna die. So he saw, like, the like, meeting him, it's somewhat surreal, because some years ago I thought about, like, what's the highest thing that you can do as a person? It's like charity, this or that. And the idea that came to me was, or the answer that I gave to the question was, to be a conduit for the expression of consciousness, to be an instrument for the expression of consciousness. And when I see him, in a way, he is that. He is the embodiment of that. So seeing that, it's like, wow. He also talked about how there are only only 12 living avatars on Earth. And it's like a whole other thing. I want to interview him about this. I'm not gonna say too much about it. He talked about why Corona happened. He talked about why the Second World War happened. Something like that. Like, whenever you talk to him, it was so interesting, because everything was he was so easy to talk to and to relate to. At a certain point, I asked him, like, can you give me my spiritual name? And you know what? He did. After one session, he was holding me, and all of a sudden, like, energetically, I felt that something was happening. And all of a sudden, he said my spiritual name. It was a Hebrew name. I think it was the name of the angel, of my angel, my guardian angel, my angel, my guardian angel. And he said it. He said it out loud. So that was something new that I got. What else? Towards the end, there's a beautiful closing ceremony where everybody's hugging and thanking each other, and yeah, it's really sweet, really beautiful. once people start to drink again, um, it everything becomes much faster because it's just 1, 2 more days and then it's done. It goes by so quickly. And honestly, there were people, like young people, like somebody of 22, and there were older people, somebody of like really, like they look like my grandmother, like 60, 70, I don't know, like really older people, and they did dry fasting. They did the whole thing. I think there was somebody with a yeah, it was really, really, really amazing experience. You know, it's all somehow the way you come and meet is the same way you leave and say goodbye. And to really be in that flow, don't try to go against the process. Sure, follow your intuition, follow your impulses, but trust the process, trust the exercises. You just have to go through the exercises basically, and just abide, be. It's really being, because while being there, you really feel I'm being, I'm being, I'm being. It's such a simple energy field. As soon as we were coming back home, like driving home, so when we went to France, we did a 2-day drive. So we left on Saturday in the morning, and we arrived at 4 or 5 in the afternoon in some city, and then we walked, we ate, we slept, and then the next day we started our drive again, and we rode. We kept driving, and then we arrived at 5, 6 in the evening. So fast. I remember how we were sitting in the car, looking, or like we stopped for a pee, for a small break to eat, and then yeah, it was all ending.